In 1911, in Nevada's Great Basin, miners tunneling for bat guano stumble upon 60 mummified bodies. Some have startling red hair and massive sandals. Old headlines race with rumours of giants, but recent DNA from those giant skulls does not just rewrite local legend. It reorders the ancestry of a continent, and it challenges everything we thought we knew about forbidden American history. So why do the questions keep multiplying? High above the dusty flats of Nevada, the Great Basin stretches to the horizon, an endless sweep of pale salt, ochre brush, and distant blue ridges. In this vast emptiness, the land seems to guard its secrets, shaped by wind and time alone. Near the basin's northern edge, a limestone outcrop rises abruptly from the desert floor, its face pocked and shadowed. Here, at an elevation of nearly 4,000 feet, the mouth of Lovelock Cave yawns open, a dark, silent vault set into stone. The cave's arid microclimate has preserved what the world outside would have erased. Rain seldom falls in this rain-shadowed valley, and the sun's heat, trapped by a rock, drives away moisture. Inside, thick layers of bat guano once blanketed the floor, sealing ancient objects from decay. The limestone walls protect against the biting cold of winter and the searing heat of summer, creating a rare environment where organic materials, basketry, sandals, even strands of hair could survive for thousands of years. For centuries, the cave sat undisturbed, its entrance hidden by the wild sweep of sage and the shifting light of the desert. This isolation, more than any legend, allowed time to slow within these walls. While the world outside changed, the cave became a natural archive, a place where the smallest traces of ancient lives remained locked in place. Every artifact, every scrap of woven fibre was spared the usual fate of dust and rot. The cave's silence held the memory of those who once found shelter here, waiting for the day when human hands would return and uncover what was left behind. In the spring of 1911, a crew of guano miners hacked their way into the darkness of Lovelock Cave, chasing the promise of fertilizer buried beneath centuries of bat droppings. Shovels struck something unexpected, a tangle of woven mats, ancient sandals, and then human bones wrapped in faded textiles. The miners unearthed nearly 60 mummified remains, their features drawn tight by the dry cave air, and their hair in some cases a striking reddish hue. Word spread fast. Newspapers seized on the details, printing wild headlines about giant skeletons and lost races. The press frenzy only grew as rumours circulated of skulls too large for any living man, and bones that seemed to hint at a forgotten chapter of American prehistory. Archaeologists from the University of California arrived soon after, determined to bring order to the chaos. In 1912 and again in 1924, they conducted systematic excavations, sifting through layers of guano and debris, which a dig revealed more. Baskets, tools, duck decoys, and additional human remains, all carefully catalogued and sent to museums for study. Yet the stories of giants would not die. Reports described skeletons measuring up to 7 feet, and sandals supposedly fit for feet twice the size of any local inhabitant. The cave, once silent, now echoed with the speculation. As artifacts and bones left the desert for museum drawers and laboratory tables, a paper trail began, one that would fuel debate for decades. The miners' breach had cracked open not just a cave, but a mystery that would draw scientists, skeptics, and storytellers into its orbit. Deep in the climate-controlled vaults of the Nevada State Museum, rows of wooden drawers hold the tangible legacy of Lovelock Cave. Each tray reveals a careful arrangement: coiled basketry, stone blades, and sandals woven from tule rush. The fibres, still sturdy after centuries, speak to a culture that thrived on the desert's edge. Among the artifacts, a pair of sandals once drew outsized attention. Early reports described them as stretching 15 inches or more, fueling headlines about giants. But the museum's forensic anthropologists, sleeves rolled up and calipers in hand, measured them at just over 11 inches, sizable, but well within the range for a tall adult. The sandals' broad soles, designed for traversing soft lakebed mud, reflect practical engineering, not mythic proportions. Nearby, a tray of duck decoys, expertly carved and feathered, carries tags that read 130 BC and 300 BC based on radiocarbon analysis. These are among the oldest known in North America, evidence of a people deeply attuned to their environment. Woven mats and fragments of prehistoric textiles suggest family life carried out in the shelter of the cave, far removed from the tales of monstrous invaders. In a sealed container, coprolites, fossilized human waste, have yielded clues about diet, seeds, fish bones, and plant fibers, not the remains of vanquished enemies. The anthropologist's notes point to a pattern, physical evidence that fits ordinary human lives, not legends. Yet rumours persist. Some claim artefacts vanished into federal archives, suggesting a cover-up. But museum records show a clear chain of custody, with most finds catalogued and accessible for study. The story for now remains grounded in what the evidence can actually prove. Inside a sterile laboratory, the air hums with the sound of precision. A lead genomicist, gloved and masked, prepares to unlock secrets sealed for centuries. The process begins with a fragment of petrous bone, chosen for its density and its reputation as the best vault for ancient DNA. Under bright lights, the bone is ground to powder, then suspended in a chemical solution. Every movement is deliberate. Contamination from modern DNA must stay below 3%, or the results become suspect. That means every instrument, every pipette, and every drop of reagent is handled as if the tiniest error could erase the past. The sample is treated with a special enzyme mix known as user, which strips away damaged bases and leaves only authentic ancient sequences behind. This step is crucial. It removes the chemical scars left by thousands of years, but preserves the genetic code itself. The DNA fragments, short, fragile, and easily lost, are captured and prepared for sequencing. Each is tagged with a unique identifier, then loaded onto an Illumina platform, a machine designed to read billions of genetic letters at once. As the machine runs, monitors display data in real time, color-coded peaks, sequence alignments, and damage patterns that confirm the DNA's ancient origin. The genomicist checks for telltale signs, including short fragment lengths and cytosine to thymine missing corporations at the ends, that authenticate the sample as truly ancient. Only after passing these checks does the data move forward. What started as a weathered piece of bone is now a digital code, ready to be compared against the genomes of people living and long dead. In this space, speculation gives way to numbers, and the story of Lovelock Cave prepares to enter the age of genetic evidence. A row of genetic sequences flashes across a lab monitor, each coloured spike representing a fragment of ancient identity. In 2018, the genome of the Spirit Cave mummy, 10,600 years old, was decoded and compared to modern populations. The verdict was unmistakable. Spirit Cave's DNA matched closest with present-day Native Americans, not with any lost or foreign race. In a parallel analysis, a Lovelock individual known as Lovelock 4 revealed a rare Y chromosome haplogroup, QFTC17883, diverging from the main Native American branches nearly 15,000 years ago. In 2022, a living Oregonian matched this same ancient marker, bridging millennia. The so-called red hair found in the cave, once cited as proof of outsiders, is now explained by iron oxidation, a chemical transformation, not a genetic trait. These results shift the story from rumour to hard data, with legal consequences under NAGPRA. The Spirit Cave remains were returned to the Fallon Paiute Shoshone tribe for reburial, affirming a deep, unbroken lineage. In the stories passed down by the Northern Paiute, the Si-Te-Cah were remembered as red-haired adversaries, outsiders who clashed with the ancestors of today's tribes. For generations, these tales were treated as legend, dismissed by outsiders as myth or exaggeration. Yet when the Spirit Cave remains were returned for reburial, a Fallon Paiute Shoshone representative spoke of the deep connection between the living and the ancient dead, describing the DNA results not as a revelation, but as confirmation of what their elders had always known. The Si-Te-Cah narrative, once seen as folklore, now reads as a kind of cultural memory, an echo of real encounters, migration, and survival. The genetic evidence, far from erasing these stories, reframes them. The people of Lovelock Cave were not strangers, but kin whose lineage continues unbroken. Still, the cave's silence leaves space for questions science cannot answer. Some mysteries, both scientific and spiritual, linger in the dusk. Today, DNA science pulls myth into the light, forcing us to separate legend from legacy. As technology advances, even the oldest mysteries face new scrutiny. Our understanding of ancestry is never fixed. The real giants are the questions we keep asking. Share your thoughts below.